Hello, welcome to the morning edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. Our top stories. Government promises to support people affected by natural disasters in the country. Former Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Colleen Zamba, is expected to appear before court today. And government pushes for increased awareness and safety measures to protect citizens from lightning-related deaths. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has appointed Luther Mambala as presidential advisor on non-governmental organizations and NGOs. This is in accordance to the powers conferred upon him under Section 89, subsection 1B, D of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi. A statement from the Chief Secretary, Justin Saidi, says the appointment is with immediate effect from the 3rd of December 2025. In our next story, government will assist households affected by natural disasters. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah gave the assurance when she visited people who have been affected by stormy rains at Chisutu village in the traditional area of Malawi in Zomwe. Beatrice Juma with a report.
The evening of 1st December 2025 has left 69 households hopeless, including a 50-year-old Esther Saidi. She had been away attending to a funeral. Upon her arrival, the roof of her house was blown off. She said everything she had has been destroyed, including food. The Vice President's visit has brought hope to Saidi and others in dire need of food and other supplies. Speaking after visiting some of the destroyed houses, Justice Dr. Jane Ansah assured the survivors of government's continued support and that everyone registered will receive relief items.
The relief assistance is in two ways. Today, we have come because of the strong winds that have destroyed houses, and the people do not have anywhere to stay. Their food has been spoiled. We are here to assist them with a maize and also items like blankets, plates, so that they can at least lead a reasonable life. The other bit of it is a distribution of food during lean season. Now, as we are here, the maize is here. We know the numbers of affected people. There is no one who is going to leave this place without receiving.
Dr. Ansah has also encouraged the families affected to plant more trees and build strong houses so that they are safe from strong winds.
A DODMA does not only deal with responses to disasters, but it also looks at resilience, at prevention, because we cannot be doing the same thing all the time. So there are plans that people will be taught how to build strong houses that will withstand strong winds and strong winds, and also will encourage people, especially now that we have the rains, to plant trees, because the trees, they help us in many different areas.
Member of Parliament for Zomba Malosa, Grace Kwerepita, has since held government for the timely response and asked for continued support until the survivors get back on their feet. Dr. Jane Ansah has also assured of government's commitment to continue food distribution exercise to hunger-stricken families until March 2026. Beatrice Juma, MBC News, Zomba.
Former Secretary to the President and Cabinet Colleen Zamba is expected to appear before court today. Zamba is in police custody following her arrest on Wednesday morning. Her arrest was confirmed by National Police spokesperson Lero who could not disclose the reasons behind the arrest, saying investigations were ongoing. Police arrested Zamba at the Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe as she was about to board a South African-bound plane. Malawi has registered over 17,000 gender-based violence cases between months of January and September 2025, a situation stakeholders have described as a hindrance to national development. We have a report.
Starting from 25 November to 10 December each year, Malawi joins the rest of the world in conducting awareness campaigns against gender-based violence. This year, it is under the theme, Unite to End Digital Violence Against All Women and Girls. Despite some gains made over the past years, GBV cases in Malawi remain very high, as police indicate that in 9 months of 2025, Malawi recorded over 17,000 GBV cases, while in 2024, over 25,000 cases were recorded. Police Deputy National Spokesperson Alfred Chintele says as police, they are ensuring the availability of victim support units across the country for effective reporting. Additionally, he says police has in place several initiatives to enhance public awareness on GBV, apart from utilizing laws that give out stiff penalties. On the other hand, Chintele expressed concern over some GBV victims who opt for withdrawal of GBV cases while investigations are in progress, saying that is contributing to continued abuse.
The cases are there, like last year, for the whole year, it was almost like 25,177 GBV cases that were recorded. And this year, from January to September, we recorded about 17,224 cases. But that is to say, maybe there are some unreported cases out there. The ones I'm mentioning now are those which are registered or recorded in our police formations countrywide. So, yeah, it's something that we have to work on as an institution, as police, but we cannot work everything on our own. That's why we also rely on various stakeholders to ensure that we are able to stop this malpractice.
Women Lawyers Association of Malawi, WILA, says despite some wins made in GBV fight through courts, judgments and laws, there is more to be done in addressing GBV in Malawi, including having more effective reporting mechanisms. WILA member Zaitwa Milanzi says most GBV reporting infrastructures are situated in distant areas from communities, making it difficult for victims to report abuses.
The gender-based violence rates are quite high in Malawi. It's a problem that both men and women are facing, as well as children, because a lot of children are being forced into marriages while they're still underage. So we still have a long way to go, but there have been some wins that the government as well as stakeholders are achieving in our context. So one of the issues that arises is issues of reporting. A lot of incidents of GBV are not reported, either because there's a lack of infrastructure or resources for reporting. A lot of the places where people can report cases of GBV to are located far from the places where GBV incidents occur.
According to the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, 1 in every 2 Malawian women experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. It also indicated that globally, 1 in 3 women experiences gender-based violence, making it approximately 840 million people. A Concern Worldwide report also indicates that in the past 12 months, about 360 million women aged 15 or older were subjected to intimate partner violence globally. Catherine Banda, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Welfare, Mary Navija, has emphasized government's dedication to protecting rights and expanding opportunities of persons with disabilities. Navija said this at Mbangweni in Zimba during the commemoration of International Day of Persons with Disabilities. We have a report by George Gandawiri.
The event started with a solidarity march from Mbangweni Trading Center to Kabira grounds in the district. The minister also toured a number of pavilions. Speaking at the event, the minister urged Malawians to change attitudes, support inclusion, and build a nation where persons with disabilities participate fully in every sphere of life. The minister outlined several achievements the country has made aimed at transforming the lives of people with disabilities. But Navicha also raised a stern reminder on public buildings and infrastructure that they must be accessible by people with disabilities.
We've seen our infrastructures are not friendly to persons with disabilities. We've seen hospitals, we've seen markets, banks, offices. There's no access for persons with disabilities. So we had a powerful message, and we have informed all building owners, including the government, not to give papers to those who are constructing their buildings without access for persons with disabilities. And we will also give them 4 years from now to 2029. They should renovate their buildings, whether it's a bank, whether it's a market or offices. They should renovate their buildings to make sure that persons with disabilities have access to enter their offices or markets or hospitals.
The event was held under the theme, Fostering Disability Inclusive Societies for Advancing Social Progress. Earlier, the minister visited Mbangweni Primary School for the Deaf, where she donated maize flour and soap to the institution. George Nkandawire, MBC, Mzimba.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has condemned the vandalism of school property by students in some schools in the country. Minister responsible, Bright Msaka, described the incidents as regrettable, emphasizing that such behavior must be curbed, especially now that government is making significant investment in educational infrastructure. The concern follows reports that students at Chulu Community Day Secondary School in Kasungu District allegedly set fire to the school's office and several classrooms last Sunday. Saka explains.
That is extremely regrettable. It shouldn't happen. We invest a lot of government resources to build the schools, and then you find that on the flimsiest of excuses, children destroy that infrastructure, and then they have nowhere to study and or to learn. So this is regrettable. It must be avoided. We will ensure that where we identify the culprits, adequate punishments are meted out to ensure that we make an example of those that do those things, so that others are deterred from repeating the same. We would like to make sure that there is school infrastructure within easy access of the communities in Malawi. And effort will be frustrated if you have people burning schools as we are building some. So I would like to assure you that we will take that matter seriously and ensure that people that are guilty are punished.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Jingambe. A reminder of the top stories. Government promises to support people affected by natural disasters in the country. Former Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Colleen Zamba, is expected to appear before court today. And government pushes for increased awareness and safety measures to protect citizens from lightning-related deaths. Welcome back. Minister of Natural Resources, Energy and Mining, Jean Matanga, has emphasized the need for increased awareness and safety measures to protect citizens from lightning-related deaths during this rainy season. Matanga was responding to concerns raised by Mwanza Central legislator over rising lightning-related deaths in the country. Margaret Mabando reports.
Speaking in Parliament on matters of national importance, member for Mwanza Central, Felix Njawala, said the country continues to lose people due to lightning. He cited examples of 2 women and 1 girl that were struck with lightning while working in the fields in his constituency. Among others, Njawala suggested that the government should push for civic education, as many people lack awareness on lightning safety measures and ways to protect themselves.
There are countries like India India used to have over 2,500 deaths annually from lightning strikes, but they came up with several interventions, and they've reduced the number to with over 60%. South Africa, did the same. Bangladesh, had also to, bring in some interventions, and they've managed to reduce the numbers. I believe if we do the same in Malawi, we can save lives.
In response, the Minister of Natural Resources, Energy and Mining, Jean Matanga, says this is an important issue that needs urgent attention. She added that the ministry will look into it and provide necessary information on how best people can protect themselves from lightning during the rainy season.
There are some interventions that do not need resources, like civic education, for example. We don't need much. We do have a window whereby you can we have to do that immediately because we've just gone into the rainy season now, and this is the time. So as I go back to the office, we'll go to our table and draw up a plan so that we embark on civic educating the masses. But in terms of installing the arresters, that will need resources, so we'll have to plan for that.
According to Mwanza Central legislator, about 26 people have died this year due to lightning. The House has since adjourned to Thursday. Margaret Mabando, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Democratic Progressive Party DPP members from the northern region have expressed joy over a Supreme Court order that was granted to allow Member of Parliament from Zimbabwe, Martha Zomwe, to continue serving, saying this will help people to benefit from government. Director of Women for DPP in the northern region, Costas Manyongo, described the stay order as a relief to the people of Zimbabwe. Hassan Piri reports.
Constance Manyongo, who is the Director of Women for the Northern Region in the DPP, said they gathered to celebrate the decision by the courts, considering that Martha Zomwe has been a beacon to the people from Zimbabwe and a figure that brings hope to the area.
I, as a woman, and my fellow members, my fellow women, we are happy because being a mother, being a woman, she will always support us as women. And if a woman is in front, then all of us, we are on top. That's why we are so happy as women. And in their constituency, they should also be thankful because the court has said Martha should still be in Parliament.
Donex Jere, who serves as the regional treasurer, said the DPP is one. So if she is given such a relief, it means a lot to the party. Ngwira, who is also Deputy Director of Women in the ruling Democratic Progressive DPP, is facing a court challenge from her opponent, Henry Mumba, who sought a court redress on Zimbabwe election results, citing irregularities which the Supreme Court of Appeal have temporarily halted. Hassan Piri, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Blantyre City Mayor Isaac Jomo Osman has issued a warning to building owners against keeping dilapidated structures in the city. Councillor Osman made the remarks when he inspected the progress of relocating street vendors to a new designated business place. We have a report.
For some time now, the leadership of Blantyre City Council has been engaging street vendors in the city to relocate from the streets to safer and designated places. Mayor for the city, Councillor Jomo Osman, has visited the streets of Limbi and inspected the progress of the exercise. This is what he said after the inspection exercise.
You know, all the time I always say that you send a thief to catch a thief. So we didn't use force. We used the committees of vendors to remove the vendors. So they know their languages, they know how they're gonna tell each other. Even me, myself, the mayor, I am on the ground working with them. You're gonna see the CEO, the minibus callers. There's a lot of people. This operation is for everyone.
Now that the congestion in the streets has begun to ease, the mayor hopes the owners of the dilapidated buildings will start to honor the council's directive to construct better infrastructure.
The people who own the buildings, and I want to say something. I want to own them before I'm talking about the renovation of the buildings, I want also to give them the warning. They are taking advantage. This is in Malawi. We are not in UK or America. You know, there are people who are taking advantage of Malawians.
Gregory Chunguo is chairperson for Limbi Market and says the initiative of relocating vendors is becoming easier now.
We applaud the thinking and the approach of the mayor is taking. We are seeing the vendors having no resistance in welcoming the move. All the leaders of vendors from different categories have joined hands to deliver the desired results.
One of the vendors who have already relocated is Estelle Naziaya.
Being one of the vendors at Kabenga area here in Limbi, we are known to be the most resistant group of vendors. But what we have done now, it's something that we think majority of the vendors have emulated. Upon being approached by our market leadership, we sat down amongst ourselves and vendors at Kabenga area and discussed what we are told, and we finally agreed to relocate.
Besides relocating the vendors, the city is also implementing several programs such as modern wastewater treatment and sewage networks, as well as road expansion and rehabilitation to make the city attractive and smart. James Kachepa, MBC News.
And now in sports, Mighty Wanderers have registered their first defeat in the 2025 TNM Super League edition after suffering a 2-1 loss to Mzuzu City Hammers in a match played at Mzuzu Stadium. The loss for Wanderers has cost them their battle for the first position in the TNM Super League, which is currently being occupied by FCB Nyasa Big Bullets. We have a report.
It was a tough match at Mzuzu Stadium, considering the fact that both teams were looking for maximum points to enhance their chances of winning the TNM Super League and move out from the relegation zone respectively. Mighty Wanderers were the first team to score in the 55th minute through Promise Kamwendo after heading in a cross from Timothy Swirimba. At 73rd minute, Samson Olatubosamu of Mzuzu City Hammers equalized from a free kick which was taken by Madalitso Safuri. But Mzuzu City Hammers had other ideas on the match when Isaiah Nyirenda scored the winning goal on the 94th minute to put Mzuzu City Hammers in the lead, defeating Mighty Wanderers in the process. This is the first defeat that Mighty Wanderers have suffered in the TNM Super League, considering the fact that they have played the rest of the games without any loss. The victory for Mzuzu City Hammers have helped them to move 1 point up the ladder to position 14 from position 15 with 27 points from 27 games, while Mighty Wanderers remain on the second position with 56 points from 25 games. Coach for Mighty Wanderers, Bob Mpinganjila, was optimistic that despite the loss, they will continue fighting until they win the title for the 2025 TNM Super League. While his counterpart, coach for Mzuzu City Hammers, Elias Chilambo, said the win has boosted their morale and they are sure that they are going to remain in the TNM Super League. In other results of the games played on Wednesday afternoon, Chitipa United have defeated Mighty Tigers by 3-2, while Civil Service United and Goshen City, the Dynamos, shared spoils after a 0-0 draw. And Mafco FC defeated Songwe Border United by 2-0. Hassan Piri, MBC Sports, Mzuzu.
And that's it from our newsroom this morning. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Government promises to support people affected by natural disasters in the country. Former Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Colleen Zamba, is expected to appear before court today. And government pushes for increased awareness and safety measures to protect citizens from lightning-related deaths. For more updates, scan the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You have been with me, Evelis Jungambe. Thanks for watching and good morning.
Good morning, and it's time for weather forecast. We are currently expecting partly cloudy conditions to persist over most areas in the central as